Welcome back. We're joined now by Kemi Badenoch, the leader of the Conservative Party. Good to have you with us this morning. So we've got a by-election coming up in Clacton. Nigel Farage standing again to be MP for Clacton. You're not fielding a candidate. Why not?
Because this is a fake by-election that Nigel Farage has called to distract from the investigation into the very fishy £5 million he received as a personal gift. I will be standing a candidate in the real by-election, which will happen after the committee reports. I suspect that the committee will find him we'll find that he has done something wrong. And if not, then there's no by-election, so there's no problem. He wants everyone to be talking about him. He is cracking under the pressure. I watched his statement. He's attacking journalists. He's making threats. And it all looks like someone who just wants politics to be something which he can get away with whatever he likes to do, doesn't want the scrutiny. I had a press conference yesterday morning. I answer difficult questions from journalists all the time. That's what the job is. You have to explain to people what you're planning to do with the power that you get politically, and he doesn't want to answer questions, and now he's thrown a hissy fit.
If you thought you had a chance of beating Nigel Farage and getting him out of Parliament, you'd fight this by-election, wouldn't you? I mean, Reform got nearly twice as many votes as you last time.
Yes, but we're not fighting two by-elections in the same seat.
We might not get a second by-election, then.
So we will fight a by-election when a real by-election is called. We are not dancing to Nigel Farage's tune. This is what he wants. He wants everyone talking about him. He wants to rail against the establishment. Yesterday, we had votes in Parliament again, to stop the early release of prisoners. Conservatives called those votes. Where was Reform? Not a single one of them turned up. I was meeting with the victims of horrific sexual abuse, including grooming gang survivors. They were in my office, they were crying, and they're saying that nobody cares. Westminster's not talking about this scandal. And this is why. Because instead of us focusing on the issues that matter, we're talking about Nigel Farage, Nigel Farage, Nigel Farage. And we're not playing that game.
I do have another question on this, if I may. And I know you're saying that we kind of shouldn't be talking about it dancing to the tune, but look, if you are a Conservative supporter in Clacton, and this by-election is going to happen, right? No matter if you want to fight it or not, it's going to happen. Who should you vote for? Should you vote for no one? Should you vote for Count Binface?
So the people of Clacton, and the Conservatives in particular, very sensible. They will do what they know to be right. It's not for me to be getting involved in that. Let's see what kind of campaign Count Binface runs and who the establishment really is. I think if it's the people versus the establishment, I think Nigel Farage might be looking like the establishment and Count Binface may be the people. So the whole thing is a farce. The whole thing is a farce.
So you give permission then for any kind of fans of Kemi Badenoch to vote for Count Binface?
This is not a real by-election. It is a fake by-election. It is a distraction from the issues that matter. We've got a retiring Prime Minister going to NATO, a crucial time for defence, with no money in the defence investment plan, certainly not enough, according to the military. We have an incoming Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, who doesn't want to answer questions either. I'm the only person out here talking about how we bring welfare down, where we get the money for defence from, how we lower energy costs.
If you lived in Clacton?
If I lived in Clacton, I think I would be sitting by the beach having a nice summer. This is a fake by-election. That's why the only person standing against Nigel Farage is Count Binface.
OK. Both Andy Burnham and Nigel Farage are using by-elections to give them personal mandates for different ways, right? Individual constituencies, of course, not representative of the whole country. If Andy Burnham becomes Prime Minister off the back of winning that by-election in Makerfield, do you think there should be a general election?
So I've been very clear that there should be a general election if Andy Burnham does not fund the Defence Investment Plan. John Healey, the former Defence Secretary, resigned, saying we're not able to protect the country, that money would not be enough to protect our troops.
I'm just going to come in, if I may, because some people will be thinking, right, you don't want to fight Nigel Farage in Clacton, you don't want a general election, apart from on specific terms. You know that you're going to lose.
I'm the leader of the opposition. I always wanted a general election.
Why won't you
because I'm not a hypocrite. When we changed Prime Ministers, I didn't call for a general election, so why would I now do it just because it's Labour? I don't change what I say because it's a different political party that's doing it.
Are you a chicken?
Sophie, please don't ask me silly questions. I don't think any of your users think that. I've been very clear. This is when we should have an election. We keep having elections with people who don't have plans. Keir Starmer didn't have a plan. Morgan McSweeney, his Chief of Staff, has said so. Andy Burnham doesn't have a plan. That's why he doesn't want to take any questions. Nigel Farage didn't have a plan. He doesn't want to answer questions. They just want to keep fighting elections. We're having elections after elections after elections, no government. I'm talking about this is what we would do in government. I'm not playing silly games. I'm not fighting elections for a personality mandate and messing around with silly gimmicks. I'm saying that if Andy Burnham does not fund the Defence Investment Plan, he should call a general election. If he also has a different manifesto from the one Labour was elected on, he should call a general election. But let's stop pretending we have a presidential system. A party has a mandate on a manifesto. They change leaders, as we did. It didn't really work in the end. We still lost when a general election came in after 2019. But what I'm not going to do is be a hypocrite and say something which I didn't say when my party had a similar circumstance.
Very finally, Prince Harry's just lost a £50 million case against the publishers of the Daily Mail. He's come out to say the ruling is, in his words, a complete and obvious whitewash. What's your reaction to what he said?
Well, as leader of His Majesty's loyal opposition, there's only so much that I can say about the royal family. I'm a huge fan of His Majesty. I think the King is doing a great job. I think Prince Harry has got some very bad advice. We do need a free press in this country. It's difficult when you're in the public eye. I've only seen a small amount of what Prince Harry must have experienced, but a free press is essential, and that's why I'm very worried about Nigel Farage threatening the press because they're asking him questions about his extremely dodgy £5 million and why, on top of that, a convicted criminal has been covering his costs.
OK, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Kemi Badenoch speaking to us there, the leader of the Conservative Party. Coming up, of course, we will continue our coverage of the by-election that is being called. It feels almost certain in Clacton, Nigel Farage campaigning to become the MP for Clacton again for Reform UK. And we'll obviously, of course, be continuing our coverage of the NATO summit as well. We'll be expecting to hear from Donald Trump within the next hour or so. And when that does happen, we'll bring it to you live. Lots of scrutiny about the US president's commitment to NATO.